day Hitler lost World War II, not Stalingrad. December 11th, 1941. The Reichstag, Berlin. Adolf Hitler declares war on the United States. Not because America attacked Germany, not because he had to. Japan bombed Pearl Harbor 4 days earlier, but Germany had no treaty obligation to join. His generals urged him to wait. He ignored them. The speech lasted 90 minutes. And in that moment, Hitler handed the Allies the only thing that could guarantee his defeat: America's industrial machine. Everyone points to Stalingrad as the turning point, but Germany still had 9 million men under arms after Stalingrad. The real turning point happened 14 months earlier in Berlin, because one man's ego invited the world's largest economy into the fight. This is the day Hitler lost World War II, and the evidence is in the numbers. It's in the numbers. Let me show you what actually happened in that room. Hitler's speech to the Reichstag on December 11th wasn't a response to an attack. It was a choice. Japan's strike on Pearl Harbor didn't threaten Germany. The Tripartite Pact, signed in 1940, only required Germany to defend Japan if Japan was attacked first, not if Japan launched a surprise offensive. Legally, Hitler could have stayed silent. Militarily, his generals begged him to stay silent, but Hitler saw an opportunity. He genuinely believed, that America was weak, distracted, and divided. He thought the Japanese attack would tie down American forces in the Pacific for years. He wanted unrestricted submarine warfare in the Atlantic without the political consequences of attacking a neutral power. His intelligence was catastrophically wrong. American industrial capacity wasn't a weakness. It was sleeping giant about to wake up furious. But Hitler, surrounded by yes men and drunk on early victories, couldn't see it. So he declared war first. The United States responded with a war declaration the same day. No debate, no hesitation. Within hours, America went from sending supplies to sending everything. Now here's what makes this decision catastrophic. Before December 11th, 1941, the United States was already helping the Allies through Lend-Lease. That program started in March of 1941, sent billions in aid: ships, trucks, ammunition, food. By December, roughly $13 billion worth of material had crossed the Atlantic. Significant, yes, but limited. America was still technically neutral. Production was ramping up, but not at full war capacity. Factories were converting from civilian to military production. Gradually, the draft was expanding slowly. Public opinion remained divided. After December 11th, the restraints came off. The United States didn't just enter the war, it became the war. American factories that were making cars started producing tanks 24 hours a day. Shipyards that built fishing vessels began launching aircraft carriers. Women joined the workforce by the millions. Rationing kicked in. War bonds sold by the billions. The entire economy pivoted to a single purpose: outproduce the Axis. Let me give you the numbers, because this is where Hitler's mistake becomes undeniable. To the Soviet Union alone, America sent 400,000 trucks and jeeps, 13,000 tanks, and 43,000 aircraft between 1941 and 1945. Those trucks kept Soviet offensives mobile when the Red Army's own logistics were collapsing. Those tanks replaced losses the USSR couldn't afford. Those planes gave the Red Army air superiority on the Eastern Front. Germany, by comparison, produced 5,200 tanks in 1944, the peak year of its wartime production. The United States built 29,500 that same year. Think about that ratio. For every Panzer rolling off a German assembly line, America was producing 5 Shermans. And that's just tanks. American shipyards launched a new Liberty cargo ship every 42 days on average. American factories built one B-24 bomber every 63 minutes at peak production. By 1944, the United States was outproducing Germany, Japan, and Italy combined in steel, oil, and aircraft. And it wasn't close. This wasn't superior tactics. This wasn't battlefield genius. This was raw industrial output, and Hitler invited it into the fight. But here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. Germany couldn't win a war of attrition, and Hitler knew it. The German war economy depended on quick victories, captured resources, and limited fronts. Blitzkrieg worked because it ended wars before they became grinding, resource-draining stalemates. Poland fell in 5 weeks, France in 6. The Soviet invasion was supposed to follow the same script: strike fast, collapse the enemy, seize the oil fields and grain supplies before winter. It didn't work. The USSR didn't collapse. And by December 1941, Germany was already bleeding in the snow outside Moscow, with supply lines stretched impossibly thin. Adding America to that equation didn't just make things harder, it made them mathematically impossible. Now Germany was fighting three superpowers simultaneously: the Soviet Union in the east, with functionally unlimited manpower, and a willingness to absorb casualties that shocked German commanders Britain in the west and south, controlling the seas in the Mediterranean, choking off Germany's access to resources, and the United States with an economy larger than Germany, Japan, and Italy combined. Every category that matters in industrial war, Germany lost after December 11th. Oil production, America produced 60% of the world's oil. Germany had to squeeze synthetic fuel from coal at enormous cost and inefficiency. Steel output, the US outproduced Germany 3-1 by 1943. Aluminum for aircraft, America dominated global production. Manpower, America could mobilize millions without collapsing its agricultural or industrial base. Germany was already conscripting teenagers and old men by 1944, pulling workers from farms and factories just to fill the ranks. The Eastern Front consumed men and material at rates Germany couldn't sustain. Every Tiger tank destroyed, every division encircled, every city bombed, Germany's capacity to replace losses shrank while American production grew. And here's the brutal reality. German forces were impressive tactically, but exhausted strategically. A Wehrmacht division in 1944 wasn't the same force that rolled through France in 1940. Equipment was older, training was rushed, fuel was scarce, replacements were undertrained. Meanwhile, American soldiers landed in Europe with brand new rifles, reliable vehicles, consistent supplies, and air superiority. Not because American soldiers were better, but because American logistics were overwhelming. By 1944, the math was obvious. Allied bombers were flying round-the-clock missions over German cities, targeting not just factories but the rail lines, the power stations, the synthetic fuel plants. The Luftwaffe couldn't defend the skies because Germany didn't have enough fuel to train replacement pilots properly. Experienced aces were dying faster than novices could replace them. The Atlantic was functionally closed. U-boats, which Hitler wanted unleashed so badly, were being sunk faster than they could be built. Allied convoys crossed with minimal losses, delivering American tanks and bombers to Britain for the inevitable invasion. And that invasion, D-Day, only happened because America provided the ships, the landing craft, the air superiority, and half the troops. Without American industry, there's no Normandy landing. Without American oil, there's no drive across France. Without American trucks, there's no race to Berlin. This is what Hitler bought with his Reichstag speech. Now let's talk about the alternative. What if Hitler had stayed silent on December 11th? What if he'd let Japan fight its war in the Pacific while Germany focused solely on the USSR? The United States was already leaning toward full involvement. True, Pearl Harbor guaranteed a Pacific war, but European involvement wasn't automatic. Isolationist sentiment was still strong in parts of America. Public opinion was divided on whether to send troops to fight in Europe when Japan was the direct threat. Congress might have debated for months. Roosevelt might have faced political gridlock. America might have prioritized the Pacific theater while keeping European involvement limited to Lend-Lease and naval support. Hitler declaring war first removed all ambiguity. He made it easy. He gave Roosevelt exactly what he needed: a clear enemy, a unified cause, and public support for a two-front war. If Germany stays quiet, maybe America stays Pacific-focused for another year, maybe longer. Maybe Lend-Lease continues, but American boots don't land in North Africa in 1942. Maybe there's no Italy campaign in 1943, no D-Day in 1944. The Eastern Front still bleeds Germany dry, but slower. The USSR takes longer to push west, more Soviet casualties, more destroyed cities, more years of grinding attrition. Does Germany win? No. The Soviet Union's manpower and industrial base, especially after relocating factories beyond the Urals, likely still prevails. But the war drags into 1946, maybe 1947. More death, more destruction, and an utterly exhausted Soviet Union at the end. That's the scenario Hitler avoided by declaring war first. Instead, he accelerated his own defeat and guaranteed America would reshape Europe's future. Stalingrad was a battle lost. December 11th, 1941, was the war lost. Hitler didn't just fight the Allies that day, he fought arithmetic. He fought the combined industrial output of 3 continents and handed them the steel, oil, and time to crush him. None of the wonder weapons mattered when America outproduced Germany 5-1. How do you win a war of attrition against those odds? You don't. Was this Hitler's biggest mistake? Drop your take in the comments and subscribe for more moments where history pivoted on a single decision. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.